Hey friends, Ash here. Welcome back to Gents. Hope that you're doing well. If you want to be Bronan the Fragbarian, wearing the strongest summertime fragrance that you can, I have one today you should check out. But it's not really like a typical summertime fragrance. It's a lot like saying a tequila shot is hydration. Technically, the tequila is a liquid. But is that what you would usually think of as hydration? Hopefully not. So yeah, it's kind of like that. And also kind of not like that at all. The fragrance that I'm talking about is, of course, this one. You already saw it. You read the title, Soul of Bali by Swiss Arabian, which has been getting a little bit of hype. And being a complete Momo, I got two. So one of these is for you. The other one is mine, the one that's open. So I'll do this giveaway later in the video. Stay tuned for that. But first, let's go ahead and take a look at this presentation. That way we can start talking about the Soul of Bali and why you need to know about it. First off, la presentation. Is that? Nah, probably incorrect. The presentation. Starting with the box, which has a slip cover on the front. It has a nice design, colorful little splashes of green and teal. You have the name of the fragrance, name of the house, and the concentration on the front, which is Extrait de Parfum. On one side of the box, or the slip cover rather, you'll find your badge code. And then on the back, you will find your barcode and your ingredient information. So you take the slip cover off like so, and it reveals the box within. Not too much going on there. You have the name of the house, you have the concentration once more, but there's nothing else there. Then you just open it up like so, and your bottle sits down inside a foam cutout. And here is the bottle, fairly simple in its design. You have on the front a little metallic plaque that has the name of the house, name of the fragrance, and the concentration once more. On top of the cap, you have SA for Swiss Arabian. Nothing doing on the sides or the back of the bottle. And on the bottom, you'll find a sticker with your concentration, your size, and your batch code. It is a 100 ml size bottle. The cap slides snugly into place. It's not too hefty, but it is a little bit top loaded, so it's heavier right here toward the tip of the cap. And let's go ahead and do a couple sprays. Here we go. Really good atomizer. This one runs $100 at full retail, so 100 bucks for 100 milliliters, $1 per milliliter. They kept the math simple. I like that. When it's available at discounters, you can typically find it for somewhere between 50 and 60 bucks, depending on where you're shopping, maybe slightly above or slightly below. As of when I'm shooting this video, it's sold out most everywhere as far as discounters go, but you know how it goes. It'll come back eventually. Eventually, one day, I'm assuming. There are other fragrances in this line though that are gonna share the same presentation style and everything, and kind of a similar naming convention. And those ones you can, for the most part, still find. It's just, like I said, this is sort of the one that's been catching on, you could say. Now, when you take a look at the note breakdown for this fragrance, you are going to think the same thing that I thought. Wow, that is gonna be a tropical, fruity explosion. You know, probably one of those fruit bomb type of scents. You spray it on and get hit with, like, you know, the mango, the pineapple, the citrus, all this stuff at once. And, you know, it wouldn't surprise me if it's got like Herbapura type vibes, just in the sense of it coming across like a tropical fruit bowl. And that is not at all how it comes across. So I have to say, the first time that I smelled this fragrance, that was the expectation. And when I sprayed it on, I was like, what is this? Like, what? Where's the pineapple? Where's the mango? Where's the citrus? Where's all of this different stuff? Like, what is going on here? So while it doesn't smell like a fruit cocktail when you spray this one on, you do get some fruity aspects that come through, especially in that initial blast. You get a tart rhubarb, some faint mango mixing together with pineapple. It's got a nice sparkle to it. You know, it's very effervescent, bubbly when you first spray it on. You also get a little citrus in there that's kind of working in underneath the other notes, but one of the things you're gonna pick up very quickly as those notes kind of settle down, as those fruity notes and nuances settle, is woods and aromatics, a little bit of an herbal touch. It's like a fresh green feel, a fresh aromatic feel, clean woods, fresh spices. It has kind of a zestiness to it, and it opens up loud and assertive. It is strong, which you would probably anticipate because of the whole Extrait de Parfum thing, but yeah, it is. Now, even though those fruits are there, as I mentioned, it's not as much of a fruit bowl, fruit cocktail, tropical explosion. That's not really what's going on. They're there, they're just not dominating. So if you're expecting them to dominate, You may be surprised when you spray this on and they aren't. Instead, they're zesty, they're lively, but not overly sweet, and they're kind of with equal footing with those aromatic notes, with the fresh spices, with that zestiness, with the woods. And you also have this minerality that kind of comes in. This minerality, I'm assuming from the aquatic notes in there, but you get that as well, and that kind of blends together with the woody notes, with the spicy notes also. And so instead of like a really tropical sweet scent, you have all those other things going on instead in tandem. As it transitions into the mid, that fruitiness, that little bit of sweetness that you get from the fruit carries over. Again, it's more of a mellow kind of fruitiness. It has a really nice, fresh, textured blend of wood, spices, a little tartness from that rhubarb that carries over as well. The mineral-laced aquatic notes are still there, and you also get a little hint of warmth from saffron. And I think the naming convention and the note breakdown could be a little bit divisive for some people. Soul of Bali, again, all those different tropical notes in the note breakdown. Some people might see that and spray this on and go, that doesn't remind me of what Bali should be. And then other people will be like, oh no, it absolutely does. And so what I mean by that is, there's kind of an idealized type of tropical scent, right? The one where it's like, oh, big coconut or lots of passion fruit or mango or whatever. And you get that huge blast, as I've said a couple times, of fruit and sweetness. And when that hits, people go, oh yeah, that's tropical. This is not taking that path. This is more so like trying to incorporate, I think, multiple aspects of what Bali is. So you have the woods, you have fresh spices, you have zest, you have aromatics, green notes, you have some of the fruit, some of that sweetness, but it's all put in there together and blended together. It's not really something where it's like, okay, here's your focal point, focus on this, like take the fruit and just shove it in their face and be like, there it is, that's what it is. It's not doing that. It's kind of like giving each one of them play in terms of the notes and the chords, I mean. And it becomes something where it's more like windswept shoreline than it is idealized tropical beach resort, if that makes any sense. Into the far dry down, that salty, mineralic, aquatic nature that we've talked about is still there. Gives the fragrance kind of like a stony freshness. The woods maintain kind of a fresh sparkle into the dry down, which is one of the better parts of the fragrance. You pick that up especially in the mid into the dry down, but it's just this little effervescence that the fragrance has. It just gives the fragrance a little bit more life, a little more brightness. So even though you have all these different things going on, and a lot of them people wouldn't think of as typical summertime Freshie accords, it gives it more life, that little bubbly facet that it has. Like I'm wearing the fragrance right now actually, and even into the far dry down, it's not just laying flat. You know, it's not just like, oh, heavy woods or anything like that. And it comes across much more pleasant, much more wearable for that. It stays clean and decently refined into the dry down. A lot of those aromatic notes come through more clearly early on. As it dries down, they fade to the background, and you even still have a little residual sweetness from that fruit in the opening into the dry down as well. It never goes creamy, it never goes syrupy. It never really comes to the forefront in a big way after they settle down in the early opening, but you do have residual little bits and bobs of sweetness they carry through. Just not a whole heck of a lot. So it ends up being a really nice balance between freshness, spiciness, and woods. A little subtle sweetness, a little subtle warmth, but never going too far in any one of those directions. In terms of seasonality, as you would probably expect, probably guess, more of a spring, summertime fragrance. I think either daytime or nighttime, you could pull it off. Of course, when it comes to fresher type fragrances, you know, summery type fragrances, the knee-jerk reaction is just to say, oh, daytime, you wear it during the day. But this one being an extrait and not being your more typical shower gel kind of fragrance, I think you could pull this off during the evening just as easily as the day. And in terms of projection and longevity, it is an extrait de parfum, and I've already mentioned this, pretty strong. Especially off the top when you first spray it on, it projects like a monster, especially if you're comparing it to your more typical summertime fragrances. So it's going to outperform just about anything that you would typically wear during the day in spring and summer. So keep that in mind. If you get this and you spray it on real heavy, you may want to have dialed that back. It's too late now. It has a bold opening and a solid presence pretty much the whole way through. Now, all that being said, that opening can be a little make it or break it for some people. And the first time I sprayed it, I was not a massive fan. Again, mainly because my mind was thinking it's gonna be this, and then it was that. So it was more so almost being surprised and going like, that's not what I signed up for, man. Yeah, it's like when it first hits your nose, if you don't know how it's gonna smell and you're thinking the other thing, you may immediately just think to yourself, this is not it, this is not it. In future wears though, once you do expect it, once you know how it's gonna go, then you can kind of open your mind up a little bit, and then you know to look for the fruits in a different way. They're kind of in there mingling with everything else. They're not right at the forefront. And once you accept that, it's actually way nicer. And as time has gone on, I pick up the fruits much more clearly as well. Again, they're not like, you know, the star of the show necessarily, but they're there and they linger and they last and they give you little bits of sweetness and they give you some nice counterpoints to some of those woods, some of the spices. That being said, it is absolutely not your typical summertime freshie. It's a little more daring. It does have that minerality to it, that mineral aspect. It has the spices, the woods, and all of the stuff coming together to give you something that, yes, you can absolutely pull off during summer. That's gonna smell different than like 99% of the freshies out there. And it's ideal for somebody looking for something that's a little different, that's still wearable, that has performance, that ticks all those boxes. And it's going to stand out a lot compared to your more run-of-the-mill fragrances. As long as you understand that this is a little bit different, that it does have pretty good push, then you know what you're in for. And at that point, you should be okay. Just don't go into it thinking, like I said, Herba Pura fruit bowl. It ain't that. $100 for 100 mil, not bad considering what most fragrances go for at full retail nowadays. And it is an extrait after all, so you do have to factor that in, I guess. Anything under that, 50, 60 bucks, you are in good shape, but a lot of people have already figured that out and picked it up. So you would have to wait for it to come back in stock, but keep that in mind. Let's go ahead and do that giveaway. As I said, it is this right here, Soul of Bali, still sealed and everything like that. Fresh from the store. Didn't even get beat up in transit, man. That's a lucky ducky. One little nick on the corner. That's fine. Whoever gets this, look at that. That little tiny dent right there, that was already there, man. So Soul of Bali, 100 mil. If you want to be entered in the giveaway, like the video, be subscribed to the channel, comment down below. Just let me know what you've been wearing this summer. Like, what's your go-to? What's the fragrance that makes you happy? I'll pick a winner with random comment picker, post it up on the post tab of the YouTube channel the following month. And if you're the winner, hit me up. I will ship it out to you. Good luck. One last thing before I forget, Swiss Arabian, of course, a lot of their fragrances are similar to other scents out there. This one does not smell like anything that I own, doesn't smell the same as anything that I'm familiar with. So I can't point you to, you know, Soul of Bali smells like this, or Soul of Bali smells like that. I think this is more so one of the like creations, you could say. Or you could just call it an original, but a lot of times people will be like, oh, you know, that's a creation. So I just wanted to throw that out there because I know some people will be like, well, what's it a clone of? Answer is, I think it's not. I think it's just its own thing. And it does actually have a perfumer attached as far as the name goes. So there's that. It's becoming more common. It's becoming more common. Middle Eastern brands, a lot of them are getting named perfumers and they're signing off with it and everything. So I think that's something we'll see more and more of as time goes. So there we go. Soul of Bali absolutely kills if you're looking for something that is strong, long-lasting, unique, and with a nice blend of woods, aromatics, fruits, and fresh spices all together. I want to thank you guys for hanging with me here. Stay safe out there. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys.